Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a lap guide for a Nurburgring Sprint with a fully stock Toyota MR2 on the Comfort Soft tires. If you want to take a look at the replay in-game, I'll have a link in the description down below. And here are the in-game tags if you want to look them up. But let's go ahead and get started with the lap guide. And one thing I want to point out is that you want to shift as few times as possible because each shift you make, especially the upshifts, will cost you a bit of time. And you'll see me take some turns on a higher gear, that way I can avoid shifting, which will actually save me a bit more time in the long run. Now as you're about to get started with your lap, you can go a bit wide on the final turn. That way you can go for a late apex and build up a little more speed for a faster start to your new lap. Now as you're going down the main straight, you're going to stay on 4th gear no matter what. Even if you hit the rev limiter, you're staying on 4th gear, do not use 5th gear. And your first braking point is right as you reach the 150 meter board. This is where I start to brake, and you want to brake as much as you can and make your way down to 2nd gear. You're turning in before the green area on the left end, so around the 25 meter mark, and start to ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, so doing a bit of trail braking. Get as close as you can to the curbs, not too close like how I do right here, as there's a little dip that will help the car rotate a bit more. And as soon as you hit the apex, carefully get back on the throttle as the car does get twitchy around here, and bring yourself towards the right side of the track. Now as soon as you're about to reach this area that is on the right, that's where you start to turn in and lift off our throttle. Stay on 3rd gear. You shouldn't need to use the brakes. You might need to use just a teeny tiny bit of braking if you need to make some fine tuning to your turn in or your speed, but for the most part you should be doing just some throttle control. Stay on the right because you're braking and turning in before the green area on the right ends. Stay on 3rd gear because if you shift down to 2nd gear, especially if you do that mid-turn, the car will over-rotate and you'll lose control. So full braking power for a very brief moment, then ease off of the brakes as you're turning in. There are moments where I'm not even using any braking nor throttle input, and this is to let the car rotate a bit more. Stay on the left because you want to set yourself up for turn number 4. And for turn number 4, which is this right turn coming up, you want to do just a teeny tiny bit of lifting off of throttle to let the car turn in a bit more. Take advantage of the red and white curves as you're still within track limits. Little lifting off of throttle to let the car turn in a bit more, and you can go a bit wide out of turn number 4. And yes, that is still part of track limits. But anyways, turn number 5, brake when the grass on the left is just about to start. So before the 100 meter board, you can brake just a teeny tiny bit earlier than where I start to brake. Make your way down to 3rd gear and turn in before the 50 meter board that is on the left. Stay as close as you can to the right side of the track, easing off the brakes as you're turning in, even having moments where you're just letting the car coast. Then start to get on the throttle to have the car rotate just a little bit more as you exit turn number 5. Bring yourself towards the right because you're braking right as you're about to reach this line that is on the ground. A little over 50% braking power, and start to turn in just as you pass that line. Easing off the brakes, let the car coast for a moment and carefully get back on the throttle because this part is where the car does like to get pretty slidey. Now bring yourself towards the left, and before the curb on the right starts, this is where you start to brake nearly full braking power for a really brief moment and turn in just before the curb on the right starts. Be careful about the curb on the right because that will make the car want to slide a bit more. And also be careful about your throttle input because if you get on the throttle too early, you risk sliding around a bit or hitting the gravel that was on the left. This little kink, easy flat out, bring yourself towards the right, and just after the tarmac changes color, that is where you start to brake. So I'm talking about this area right here. This is where you want to start to brake. So this is before the 100 meter board. This is exactly where I start to brake, and you're only going to go down to 3rd gear. Don't use 2nd gear, just go down to 3rd gear. Now this is the most difficult part because you're turning in after the 50 meter board and you want to try to straight line it through the chicane because the car will bounce around and you want to reduce the risk of having the car get unsettled. So going through here, right wheels are on the red and white curve, so I'm still in track limits. Car bounces around right there. Try to go flat out through there. Left wheels are on the curb, so I'm still on track limits. And yeah, that chicane is really difficult to nail down. So if you want to take it a little slower, you can, if you want to make sure that you're able to consistently make it through that chicane. But anyways, final braking point is when the dirt on the left starts. Full braking power, and you're turning in before you start to go towards the Nordschleife section. So that little on-ramp down on the left. Start to turn in, stay on third gear, and just letting the car rotate around this turn. Go for a slightly late apex so you can get a better run out of the turn. And that's going to be it for this part of the lap guide. So now let's go through this again, but this time I will not stop the video. Alright, so we're actually going to go through this part again because I just want to show that for setting up the lap, going a bit wide into the final turn, getting a late apex, that way I can get a better run out of the final turn and get a faster start to the new lap. So I'm going to stay on fourth gear even when I hit the rev limiter, because I'm going to hit that rev limiter just before I hit the braking point, which is the 150 meter board. Going down to second gear, hit this apex because there's a little dip that will help the car rotate a bit more. Get on the throttle as carefully as possible, as the car does get twitchy through turn number 1. Turn number 2, which is this turn right here, you can do a little bit of throttle control to let the car rotate a bit more. Turn number 3, get on the brakes before the green area on the right ends. Staying on the left side of the track, stay on third gear, and you want to do a little lifting off of throttle for turn number 4, making use of, well, more than the width of the track. But anyways, brake before the 100 meter board for turn number 5. Trying to stay towards the right side of the track. Get on the throttle as soon as you can, because you can get the car to rotate just a little bit more. Bring yourself towards the left. Brake before the 50 meter board. Just trying to be nice and easy through these series of turns, as this is where the car really likes to get slidey. Brake before the curb on the right starts, and you can just try to be really careful with your approach into these turns. This is where, or these are some of the parts where the car does like to get really twitchy, really slidey. I mean you'll look cool, but you'll lose time if you start to slide around a lot. And for the final chicane, really difficult turn to nail down. Brake before the 100 meter board, go down to third gear, try to straight line it through the chicane, taking advantage of the roundabout curves as they are still within track limits. And for the final braking point, brake when the patch of dirt on the left starts, going for a slightly late apex to get a better run to end your lap. And with this, I was able to just poke into the 144s, getting a 144.812. So yeah, this one took a while. I have been pretty rusty lately because I haven't touched the rig in a while. I haven't been playing this game that much because, well, work, peak season. So that pretty much explains why I've been gone for almost a month. Yeah, a lot of work. Yeah, and it's going to be difficult to know when I can upload a video, so yeah, my upload schedule is going to be pretty infrequent, but I'll upload videos whenever I can. But yeah, this video was also uploaded or made during Christmas. It's 9 p.m. over here on Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas to y'all. Happy New Year. If I don't upload anything by then, I should have something uploaded by then, but we'll see about that. But anyways, this is Mr. MCA. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.